Good evening. My name is Brooke Drew, manager here at Bennington Lanes, and I'd like to welcome you to the 2013 King of the Hill. We have 6 qualifying spots, and how do you join, you wonder? You take your 3 games, we take your average, and then we take 80% of your average, and that's how we come up with your handicap. And then we figure out how many guys we have bowling. We take the top 6 and we have a bowl off. So number 6 bowls number 5, and number 5 bowls 4, 4 bowls 3, 3 bowls 2, and then when we get to the end, we have our final King of the Hill. And the special treat tonight is we have the final 4. So we have 4 King of the Hills from the previous weeks, and we're going to have the true 2013 Bennington Lanes King of the Hill tonight. The start of King of the Hill is with Tim Wilson seated number 6 and Mike Burdick seated number 5. Tim Wilson has handicap of 24 pins and Mike Burdick has a handicap with 36 pins. Here we head into the 10th frame. Mike is going in with a 188. Tim is going in with a 175. This final game is going to go down to the 10th frame. Who's going to strike out or who's going to leave an open? As we finish the first set of games here, Tim ends with a 221. Mike is moving on with a 238. For the next round, bowler number 5 is going to start bowling bowler number 4. We're headed into the next match with Mike seated number 5 going against Jonathan seated number 4. Mike gets 36 pins of handicap and Jonathan is going to get 34 pins of handicap on this match, which means Mike really gets a 2-pin advantage over Jonathan. So technically we're bowling scratch here. It's all about who's going to perform the best in this match, Mike or Jonathan. Match. Jonathan is the highest seed in this match, so he will start on the right-hand lane and throw the first ball. Here we are going into the middle of the game. As in baseball, inning number 5. Mike's got an 81. Jonathan has a 71 with 2 strikes on his side. Close game. Solid 6-pin. There's a kicker. Mike got a strike in this 6. The pressure on Jonathan here. He's got to start striking out or he's not going to be in this game to win it. His ball is sliding past that head pin. He is not getting good connection when he's hitting the ball into the pocket. And that is going to hurt him by not picking up this spare in the 8th. Another strike from Mike here, and he'll seal the deal in this one. Mike ended his 10th frame with an open. His scratch game was 201 with his handicap 237. Jonathan struck out in his first strike of the 10th frame, working on a double, looking to see if he can't beat 237 to move on to the next round. That's a solid second strike in the 10th frame. Can he get the fourth? He's working on a turkey right now. That's 3 strikes in a row. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Ends it with a nasty split. Scratch game is 185 with handicap 219. Congratulations to Mike Burdick. We're moving on to the next round. As we start this third round here, Dave Dickinson has 40 pins of handicap. His opponent is Mike Burdick with 36 pins of handicap. Started out, Dave throwing a ball way off course here. Nothing like he did in practice. 4 pins. He's going to need to pick these up to get the game rolling. Now, this is Mike's third game qualifying tonight for King of the Kill. He's probably starting to get a little tired and a little nervous. Mike has an 84. Dave has a 92. Very close to one another. Once again, we're bowling almost a scratch game here with the handicap difference. Mike just got a strike he really needed in the 5th frame. We call that a chop. That's a hard split to pick up. If David picks this up, they call that a killer shot. That might have just opened the door for Mike in this match. David's had 2 big splits like that with solid pocket hits. He's got to regroup here and get a strike if he wants to stay in this. That's 3 strikes in a row, and you can tell Dave is real happy with that turkey. He needed that to seal the deal on this game. Now, if Mike can start striking out, he still has a chance. Here we are headed in the 10th frame. Mike got a strike in the first ball. There's a second strike. He needs this third. If he gets a third strike, we like to call that a 10th frame bowler. It's a strong finish. Scratch 190 with handicap 226. Dave's got the pressure. Can he keep it? Can he keep this going in the 10th frame? He needs to get a strike on the first ball. That noise means he fouled. There's a line that you may not cross while you are in competition. That ball counts as nothing. Even though it was a strike, he will not get any credit for that. Your body may not go over that line while in play. As you can tell, that really messed him up in the mental game and took him out.
Only hit 7.
Okay, here we are headed into our fourth match of the night, and we're actually have an interesting thing. We have a Mike, and their handicap is the same, 36 pins, 36 pins. So no matter how you dice it, they're bowling scratch on this one. Winner takes all, headed into the final game to see who will be the true king of the hill. Mike starts it off with a solid pocket shot, leaving the 6 pin. Mike on this first ball is hoping to get a strike to set the tone of how this match is going to go. And he does. He sets the tone with a solid pocket strike, headed on over to the next lane, hoping to continue with the second strike of the game. I think he's found his mark with 2 strikes in a row here. As a bowler, you just want to go, oh crap. How did that happen? I threw the ball great, I hit the head pin, and this is what is left. That is a great pickup. That's a killer shot right there. That's going to help keep him in this game. That is a big miss in the 9th frame. He just opened the door for Mike Burdick. If Mike Burdick finds the right line and gets a strike on this, it's going to really help him going into the 10th frame. Once again, Mike Burdick has just bowled his 4th game to try and make it into the 5th game of King of the Hill. Furthest bowler out of the whole month of doing that to do that. Mike Smith here needs to get a strike on the first ball. And he has not. This is going to make it interesting. He beats him by 2 pins. 2 pins. Mike Smith with a 234. Mike Burdick with a 232. Mike Burdick had a scratch game of 196, and Mike Smith had a scratch game of 198. 2 pin difference here. I have to say congratulations to Mike Burdick, though. He bowled 4 games, started at the bottom, made it to the game just before the final King of the Hill. Congratulations to Mike Burdick. Okay, here we start with our final game of this round of King of the Hill. David has 2 pins handicap. Mike Smith has 36.
David is one of the highest average bowlers in the house. He has 2 pins, meaning his average is a 228. After we factor in the 230 minus the 228, he gets 2 pins at 80%. He's got a bowl perfect, where Mike gets a little leeway with 36 pins. We've got quite a game here going into the 3rd and 4th frame on each bowler. Mike Smith sticking right with Dave. Not a good release on that ball. As you saw, it slid past the head pin and left a nasty pickup here for a spare. Like I said, that was a nasty spare, and you can see why. You think it looks easy when you're looking at it, and then if you don't just get it placed just right, you're going to leave a corner pin like he did. Okay, Dave's headed into the 8th frame. Mike Smith got a strike in the 7th and the 8th. If Dave gets this 3rd strike, it's called a turkey, people. Gobble, gobble. We're trying to get him to do the dance. He's too afraid to do it on TV. He should do the dance. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Just so you know, when I bowl a strike, I do 3 strikes in a row. I do the gobble, gobble, and I have a great dance. Something to be proud of. That's a strike. Final ball for Mike Smith. And usually that's a good place to put it. You don't want to pick up that spare. For Mike, he finished with handicap 213. Safe to say, Dave has won this match. He is the king of the hill for this week in February. And tonight, we'll be finishing up with all the King of the Hills bowling in the final showdown of games tonight. Mike Smith ended with a 177 scratch, 213 with handicap, and Dave Rice is going to crush this score with his final. Ball on this game. Good place to leave that in the 10th frame. Dave ends with scratch 264, defeating Mike Smith with a 177. That's a true blowout for this game. Congratulations to Dave Rice as our new King of the Hill of this week at Bennington Lanes. Thank you for tuning in. We're in our true King of the Hill with our final 4 bowlers. Winner 1 is Gene Stevens. Winner 2 is Todd Keys. Winner 3 is David Dickinson. And tonight's winner, David Rice, is bowling for the true title of King of the Hill, Bennington Lanes 2013. Can't wait to see who finishes first. Here we are in the start of the final game here of King of the Hill. We've got 4 bowlers. Todd just threw the first ball out and left a nasty 10 pin. They're all nervous. They want to be that guy named Bennington Lanes King of the Hill 2013, the one who beat them all. As you can tell, the nerves are out here. That's a 10 pin that Todd generally doesn't have a hard time picking up, but it's nervous when you're trying to beat 3 other guys. First ball for Gene's out there and leaves a 10 pin. Justin had that first ball in his frame and got a strike. Now Dave Rice is headed up for his first ball in the game. Dave gets a strike on his first ball.
Way back, in George and then
George.
George was president and stuff.
Way back when George was president. I was watching this thing and it was really funny. On this guy dressed up as Abraham Lincoln on President's Week, and he asked passerbyers if the $5 bill made him look heavy. That's a lucky strike right there. That's what we call good pin action, and we'd still like to see that turkey dance. Gobble, gobble, gobble. We also joke around with strikes like that we have a little remote control that we use, and when we think we might need it, we use it on that kind of a pin action where you really want that strike. Gene answers with a third strike. The lanes are getting hot, the guys are finding their marks, and they're getting the strikes they need for this win. There we go. There's another strike. I have to tell you, Mike, when I told my mom we were doing King of the Hill again, she was excited. This is something my dad did back in the 80s and the 90s, and the bowlers in the house really, truly enjoyed it. And I started posting on our Facebook page about this new King of the Hill, and the response was hysterical about how people remembered it previously on Cat TV. Cat TV came in and covered everything for us and was nice enough to broadcast it. And the people who remember it from the 80s and the 90s are very excited that you guys have come back in to do this. That's a 4th strike in a row for Dave. He's on fire. Can't see him in the frame because he likes to jump around a lot. Tough on that ball there. Had some good pins drop, so he has a single. Generally, these are easy for the guys to pick up. You want that going into the 5th frame. This is the middle of the game where we're kind of deciding what's going to happen. And Todd needs to keep this spare going for him to stay in the game. Todd gets the spare that he desperately needed to stay in this. These bowlers are bowling great right now. We've got strikes from everyone. Everyone is staying in the game here. Dave's stepping up in the 5th frame, going for that 5th strike, hoping to keep the streak alive. If he does this, he's really going to set the tone of where this game is going to go. This is a big frame for him. if he does this, he's going to start to really pull ahead of the other guys. Oh, nice ball going down, but left that solid 10 pin. He's got to pick this up. He picks that 10 pin up to stay in it. Now we're starting to see, like I said, we're going into the 6th frame here. Todd with a 94, Justin with a 95. Gene's got a 126, and Dave has a 111. This game is anybody's still. They need to stay focused and figure out who's going to be the next king of the hill. That's a solid strike from Gene. Oh, Todd called that ball not going in the way direction he wanted it, just like Babe Ruth on the home run plate. But Todd got a strike. He called that as he walked away. That is an unusual leftover of pins. Dave's got to pick this up to stay going even with Gene here. He needs to pick up the spare. And Dave picks up that spare. As you can see, Justin was a little nervous on that ball as it headed down. He saw it sliding into the head pin, not having a good reaction of coming in. For the ball he threw, not a bad outcome. Pick up the spare and he stays in it. And he misses the spare. This is really gonna hurt him in the long run. Gene with 3 strikes. That's a turkey. I didn't see a turkey dance from Gene as well. I'll follow that up with gobble, gobble, gobble. It's Thanksgiving time in here. Everybody's getting turkeys. There's a strike for Todd. Todd's got 3 strikes going for him. Another turkey. Here we are headed into the 10th frame, final frame of the game here. Gene's got 4 in a row, hoping to continue on to get that 5th strike. Gene's been doing very well this game. He's got a 146 with 4 strikes going into the 10th. Got lucky on that one, broke it up. Needs to pick this up. That could have put an end to his competition right there if he left a split. Gets a spare, barely, and is headed into the final throw for him in this game. And I know he's really hoping to get that strike. Gets a strike in the 10th. Final number for him, 248 scratch, 275 with handicap. That's going to be a tough score to beat. That's a great game. Good job, Gene Stevens. Here we have Todd Keys heading into the 10th with 4 strikes in a row. Looking to pick up that 5th. Needs to pick up that 5th to stay in this. Left a 10 pin. Unfortunately, Todd can't beat Gene in this game. That's a good game, Todd. Todd ended with a 226 scratch, 242 with handicap, coming in second as of right now behind Gene Stevens. Unfortunately, Dave is also not going to be able to beat Gene in this roll-off. As you can tell, they're bowling a little bit faster now, knowing that Gene's got the score to beat. Todd's out of the game. Dave's out of the game. And Dave ends it with scratch, 221, handicap, 223. That's another great game in competition. Justin heading into the 10th frame with 2 strikes. Follows it up with a 3rd. That's going to put an end to him trying to take over Gene's spot. Gene was just on fire tonight. You couldn't compete with that if you weren't striking like he was. And that's a final score for Justin. Scratch 203, handicap 239. That's a great night of bowling. I want to thank Mike for coming in for Cat TV and videotaping for me, with our final 2013 Bennington Lanes February King of the Hill being Gene Stevens with a 275. Congratulations and great bowling, and I want to say thank you for all participating.